Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, definitely come check us out. I think right now we've almost surpassed 7,000 members. So if you're not a member yet, definitely come check us out. Today, I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Zachary Colman. Welcome, Zachary.
Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You're welcome. So Zachary, tell myself and the members of the community, what is it that you do?
Well, a lot of people get confused, but in short, we're a sports digital marketing and branding agency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Digital marketing and branding agency.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What got you started in that path?
Well, I mean, I got my bachelor's of science in graphic design probably about, I think it's almost 11 years now. And then I kind of moved up into the rankings, working as up to, creative director over at the Phoenix Suns, and working through, the agile atmosphere over at Pearson for a while as a creative director. And I just got to the point when I'm working in the corporate world where I kind of wanted to move out on my own thing. I kind of had a web development agency on the side, a graphics and web agency on the side while I was in the corporate world for a while. And I just got to the point where I went through and I realized that having your dream job isn't the same as having your dream career, because I went through 3 bosses in a 2-year period. I went from, you could say it's like a nursery rhyme. I went through having a great boss, and then I had a so-so boss, and then I had a bad boss. And it was one of those things I just realized, I'm like, I can do better on this on my own. I learned all the pain points of having a web development agency while I was still in the corporate world, and I had it kind of on the side as a side gig. But I was just kind of at the point where I wanted to do my own thing, and being in the sports realm my whole life. My dad was an NFL kicker way before I was born for a while, and growing up in sports and growing up on the athletic market, I just kind of wanted to bring my 2 passions together. And I kind of just took that dive, and I niched down on becoming a full service branding and marketing agency, and slowly growing and like I always tell my prospects, is enjoy the journey and just kind of following that path.
Mm-hmm. Love it. I love what you just shared as far as working the job where you're like, I could keep doing this, or I could go out and do my own thing. And you did make the leap to doing your own thing. So I guess when you got to that thing, how did it, was it a long process to the point where you realized you're just not satisfied with the job and making a shift?
That's funny you say that. Because I just got married. I just bought a house. I was very comfortable at where I was at. I was making a good amount of money at my last job, moving up in the field. And it was at the point before, we'll say, everything going on, where they had different offices and over at Pearson, they had different offices in different locations. And so I was the only director. I worked with a lot of marketing professionals, but I was the only creative side in the Arizona department. All the rest of my coworkers and my bosses, they were either in Florida or Canada. So I got used to the virtual, environment a lot more at that time. And being in the side business, I was just, I always, one thing that I say why I think that people should go to school is because it teaches you to teach yourself. It's more so teaching you to teach yourself how to improve, how to do better. And in my business, even when it was a side gig, it was I didn't really make that much money a year, but it was enough I just wanted to thrive for it to be better. I loved change. I was always loved change. So I always learned something in a position, and I'd always be like, all right, 3 months later, I'd be like, all right, I know everything. I want to move on. I want to move up. And in today's society, I feel like it's very job hopping scenario when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so I actually got a gig to fly out to New York to work on American Express's wireframing and helping them with their new website. And it was a good amount of money, but that fear kicked in. And I was like, oh, well, if I take this gig, it's about a year's worth of salary in 3 to 6 months of what I'm making now. But it wasn't. It was the fear. The fear kicked in, and I was like, oh, well, what happens after that? What happens? So I declined the job, and I just regretted it. I just regretted it. And 2 weeks later, I said, hey, I want to take this. I want to move forward. And they told me, hey, sorry, we already gave it to someone else. So at that time, I kind of knew, I was ready. I just got married. My wife wanted to start having children. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I need to do this. And it's a leap of faith scenario. You kind of have to take a leap of faith. And I kind of one day just, it took me some time to get there. It's just like having children. You're never ready. You just kind of have to do it. But I felt like, I had enough experience in the field that I could push myself. And I knew it was going to be rough at the beginning, which the first year was pretty rough. I'll tell you that much. But I just had to take that leap of faith. I had enough saved up that I could say, all right, if worst comes to worst, I could pay myself for the next 6 months. So I kind of just about a year after that situation happened is when I got the transition to the bad boss. And I was just at that point where I was having so much unneeded stress from trying really hard to do certain things and no one ever be satisfying. I just said, you know what, I just need to do it. And I finally said, all right, on this date, I'm going to put my 2-week notice in. And I kind of just built myself up, and I was a little bit scared, and I did take a 2-week hiatus, push that an extra 2 weeks, but I finally took the leap and I just did it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Love it. Love it. So with the company you're building right now, what's that vision that you hold for that company?
So right now I'm kind of a new form of marketing agency. I kind of thrive on just like opening the business, and I tell my clients is you need a niche. Niching is always very great. Being in marketing, I can always see when people niche, and so I told myself, you know what, I see a huge opportunity in the fact of helping professional athletes, athletics, gym owners. And since I'm also passionate about it, I just noticed that there's traditional sports marketing agencies, but most of those traditional sports marketing agencies focus around just finding sponsors for their clients. They usually don't have really any background on the digital side, not just the social media. It's also the search engine optimization, the paid advertisement, the blogging, web development and design, and how it all kind of works together. So it's been a journey, but I kind of got to the point where I just started really focusing on hitting those small pain points as I go. And I think the hardest thing that I've had to come up with is the steady growth. I mean, even when you get out in the business, there's the pain points of, I always tell my prospects, because I do get a lot of clients that come in that just don't have enough money for marketing yet. And I always try to tell them, hey, at the beginning, time equals money. Look at it as a freelance gig. You're a freelancer. You're still working for someone else, but you're more of a yes man. Where when you start moving towards the business perspective, you start hiring employees under you, and you as a business owner become basically the authority in the brand of your business. And you need to start hiring employees under you, and don't be afraid to start taking that 10 to 15% and start focusing on hiring quality employees, quality contractors and freelancers, and let them use their time as you continue to grow in different aspects. And so I'm kind of off the subject of what you brought up, but I think that it was just my passion and seeing the niche and going through and actually doing my due diligence on the market strategy. And as of right now, we're kind of I'm really trying to build the authority in my industry. At the very beginning, it was, I still get clients through referrals, which is great when you niche. You can still get clients through referrals. So I do have a lot of local companies that I still work with. But overall, I'm slowly starting to finally push into the niche of the athletic market. I have quite a few athletic clients that have finally started that are a little bit higher end, reach out to me. We're starting to build that processes. And like I said, enjoy the journey. It's kind of happening slowly, but it's happening in a pace where I know that I'm not going to overwhelm myself with next, similar to people that get investments, very growing too fast. And next, I'm just spending money on stuff I shouldn't spend money on, and knowing, okay, 10 to 15% here. But overall, my 5-year plan is to really kind of get into a point where I'm like a traditional sports marketing company, but I'm not, where I can have a lot of athletic clients. I can have a lot of athletes under my belt as clients working for us that I can kind of just give the referral base back and forth, because in the athletic market, it's kind of a unique niche where there's a lot of different verticals, but everyone has that mindset of, oh, I want to eat healthy. I want to, I do a sport. I understand the problems of this sport. I understand the problems of this. And so being able to leverage that and just give sponsorships, not really away, but be able to help clients say, hey, I have this client that does this, or I have this referral that does this. They're also a client of mine. Why don't you talk to them about a sponsorship? And being able to leverage that community together and basically build a community of athletes and other sports marketing agencies, et cetera, that can kind of work together without me having to, where I could still build their brand outside of that. And then the 10-year plan is really, kind of more so trying to get contracts from larger athletic agencies like Nike and Adidas and stuff like that, and really working with them and helping them build their sponsored athletes online presence through the web development side, the SEO side, the paid side, and things of that nature, while they focus on helping them with the sponsorships and stuff like that. And then from there, I'm kind of have a secondary business that I'm eventually going to open up, and I can't really say much about it, but it's really a SaaS product that's going to be an overall search hierarchy for athletes and sponsors to kind of find each other. So it helps people that are a little bit lower end on the spectrum and of being an elite athlete, but being able to work together and find people that they could sponsor with and things of that nature a lot easier. But that's one of those things where I knew that if I started that now, it would take a lot of time out of what I'm trying to grow. So that's kind of later on. I'm kind of holding that off a little bit.
Yeah, got you. Now, what would someone need to be at to be able to really benefit from your services? What would they need to be at on their journey?
I would say usually companies that are in that first to second tier gap period. So we've kind of built in business. We do have a lower end tier that we just started up for semi-pro athletes and businesses that are just starting out, where it's more of we can hire on for a cheaper amount, a marketing accountability coach to kind of help them through the basics. Like I said, time equals money at the beginning. So kind of giving them an understanding of some simple marketing tactics they can do, and kind of forcing them to learn how to post, learn how to what a good quality website is, what a good quality brand identity is, things of that nature, and helping them get there so they can get to that point where they're eventually understanding, hey, I need to hire quality. Because I think the biggest trope with a lot of individuals is they go and they build this business, but they don't look at their brand identity or their website as a piece of that. And they just go and they go cheap, and it ends up breaking, or it ends up, just not looking. It doesn't really give the visuals of a high-end brand, which in turn makes the clients turn around. You don't get higher conversions, things of that nature. So we really have a brand build package that we've kind of built for clients that are usually in that gap period where they're ready to hire on a marketing team, but they don't have the money to hire on, like, let's say $120,000 marketing agent, marketing director, a $60,000 designer, a $60,000 web developer. And we basically just say, hey, for a simple for $5,000 a month, which is basically $60,000 a year, up to $10,000, you can have a whole marketing team. So you basically get me. I'm the project manager of all the projects. So I basically come on and I have my employees do all the subverse stuff that will help along the way as well when it comes to that stuff. So basically people that are about at that usually $500,000 to $1 million mark is grossing, is when they're ready to kind of take it to that next level. We have smaller packages as well. Those 5,000 to 10,000 are usually for companies that combine different strategies of omni-channel marketing together, like blogging, web development, brand identity, things like that, and combining it all together and using the channels that work best for them. But we also do smaller packages as well. So companies that are a little bit lower and they're like, we just want to focus on social media right now, or some SEO, or, website. Can we go on like a $2,500 package or a $12,500 package? And I'm pretty blunt with clients in terms of stuff, because I want them to know, hey, I'm the expert in this. So let me help you achieve what you want to achieve. and my expertise in the field, and we'll take what you want, but we'll make it in a way that works best for your target audience. So I usually do my best to say, hey, I don't think this channel would work right now. Let's focus on this channel, or let's do this. We go through branding discovery and website discovery and all that nifty stuff. But yeah, for the most part, we usually say around 500,000 a year is probably a good stepping stone.
Awesome. And what about how does a typical engagement look like for you? Is it virtual? Is it in person? How would the clients you want to work with, what would that look like?
It really depends. I know right now is a little different. We've had to kind of force everything to be a little more virtual. Being a digital marketing agency, that wasn't as hard as some other companies are. But we usually go through a normal system. So for instance, if we went to the traditional web development or branding package way, usually those involve half up front and half when the project is complete. So we usually have an introductory call with them, kind of go over their pain points, what they're looking for, kind of come up with a scope of work for them if they're ready to move forward. We show them that scope of work, and then we either do half up front, half at the end. If they wanted to go on more of a, hey, I like the 5,000 package, then we say, all right, I'm going to create you a scope that's going to be for the next year to 2 years. It will divided amongst what your marketing strategy is. And then we're going to kind of use that scope, and we're going to do 5,000 a month. And we're going to kind of start with branding discovery, create customer profiles, create naming if the company needs naming, and our naming change or something like that. And then we go into the brand identity package, and then we move from there to the web development side and do web discovery, creating the sitemap, creating the SEO strategy, creating the user experience on the best way to do the funnels for the website, and the landing pages and stuff like that. And then we transition into the ongoing, which is what kind of ongoing marketing do you need? Are we going to focus on social media organic? Are we going to focus on online search organic? And then I usually combine that with a paid service just to help them get leads in the door, as they're kind of letting them more conversion rate based stuff on organic kind of grow, because that takes time. So we kind of mix two of those together, and then we do blogging, and then we kind of do that so we can start getting a lot of blog posts on the site, which can eventually be converted to social media posts and excuse me, and social media posts and emails and stuff like that. And then it kind of just grows from there.
Love it, love it. Now, if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way for them to be able to do so?
They can reach out through our website, https creative.com. It's just creative with an extra TI in it. And from there, you can have it. There's a couple of landing pages on there that you can go to depending on your field of expertise that you can kind of look at, read through some of the stuff. You can also just contact us through the contact form. I have a rep that will reach out to you and get stuff started, see what you're looking for and things of that nature. You can also just send a text. There's a text or a phone call through the website. There's a phone number on the website that you can reach out on, or you can just straight up email us at hello@creative.com, and we can reach out and set up a time that's good for you to chat.
And summary again, who'd you say is that best ideal person for you that would make sense to reach out to you?
Best size person, anyone can really reach out to us, but we would say, if you're making around 250K a year gross or higher, I'd say that would be your best bet to finally, reach out to us and get some good marketing going for you.
Awesome. Love it, Zachary. Well, hey, thank you again for stopping by. And guys, the links, Zach, I just mentioned here, they will be either right above or below this video, so you can click and get connected right to him. So again, Zachary, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing what it is that you do to the community. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
Just let everyone know too, we just started our YouTube channel a couple weeks ago. So if you want to watch some videos just to get some ideas on some tips and tricks in the branding and marketing area, you can always check out the channel and subscribe.
Awesome. What's the name of the channel?
It's Creative.
Awesome. There you go, guys. Well, again, hey, thanks again, man, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Enjoy.
All right. Thank you.